Hi Virgo, this is your horoscope for December 2016. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Now, your ruler, Mercury, goes into Capricorn on the 3rd of December, and it very happily goes into your 5th house of romance and children. So Mercury was in Sagittarius until the 3rd, and Mercury, your ruler, is the communication planet. It's the way you think, it's the way you interact, the way you take information in, and the way you put information out there. And until the 3rd, I think there was a focus on family and being around other people in that sense, and really being optimistic and enjoying other people's company. And it could even be friends who are like family, people who are very near and dear to your heart. And now on the 3rd, when your ruler goes into the 5th, there's a sense of focus on kind of having fun and looking at romance in a genuine way, or looking at just being silly and enjoying yourself. There's really a kind of contradictory sense of, I'm going to work at having a good time here, which kind of makes sense for you, Virgo, because that's the way you sometimes approach things. Not only that, you've got a lot of other positive energy sitting in that 5th house of romance and children, which makes this a really good month for all of those themes in your life. You've got the moon, Venus, and Pluto in that 5th house. So you feel comfortable at working at making your romantic relationships better. And if you do work in that sense at making it better, then you can really transform your relationship status. It's very conducive to making alterations, and in a positive way. So adding someone new into your life, meeting up with someone who could become like family. So that's really a theme here that has a lot of potential for change. So if you're someone who wants to make changes in that area of your life, really seize this opportunity and do something with it. Now, Mercury continues to influence that side of things for a long time until it goes retrograde on the 19th. But on the 8th of December, Venus leaves the 5th house and it goes into Aquarius in your 6th. So yes, the focus is still on love and romance, but with Venus leaving on the 8th and moving into that 6th house, there's going to be a focus on changing your routine so that other people who may be affected by it negatively start to have less negative effects. So, let's say you're a mother and you've got a family of 3 and you work 40 hours a week and the children hardly ever see you. You may consider now balancing things out a little bit more so that you can spend more time with them and that the kids aren't so negatively affected by that, for example. Okay, so that is what your planet of creativity is going to be concerned with, giving you inspiration and ideas of how you can make your day-to-day life look better. Mars is also hanging around in that 6th house. Mars is the planet of drive and aspiration, and he is in Aquarius at 21 degrees, 2 and 1 is 3. So Mars is very expressive. So there will be a lot of ideas coming through and a lot of push to making things better. So it's not just, oh, I love changing things because it just makes everything better. It's like, I have to make changes. And because Mars and Venus are together, archetypal male and female, there's real potential for new life to start, for some sort of new beginning to appear. That's what they mean in the astrology, that there's some new start when it comes to what your day-to-day life looks like. On the 14th of December, there is a full moon in Gemini, and that happens in your 10th house. There will be a separate video on the full moon which really goes into a lot of depth about what the full moon means. But as far as you're concerned, Virgo, this full moon is in your kind of sister sign of Gemini, which is also ruled by Mercury, so that's positive. But it's at 29 degrees, 2 and 9 is 11, master number of service, in Gemini in your 10th house. So something opens up, an opportunity appears in your career. A doorway appears that you can walk through if you choose. So look out for the opportunities that are presented to you. They will be very positive. On the 19th, Mars leaves the 6th house. So your drive to make things better for others kind of dissipates a little bit, and it goes into Pisces in your 7th house. Now, I know Mars is like the soldier and drive and desire, but for you particularly with this placement in Pisces and in the 7th, it isn't traditionally a Mars energy, but I really think that this exceptional drive to be romantically connected really becomes your primary focus. Not only that, you have a lot going on in your 7th house now. And remember, the 5th house is romance, so relationships. The 7th house is also relationships. So that is the big focus for you here in December, Virgo. This is your summer of love. You're really focused on connecting with someone in an intimate way. You've got your rising sign, Chiron, Neptune, and your South Node all in Pisces. On top of that, Mars in Pisces in your 7th. So there's a huge chunk of your energy which is invested in this. The dream of Prince Charming or Snow White or whatever it is. Really connecting with someone on an intimate level and feeling healed and ready to open up to another person. And I also feel like there's almost a kind of karmic identification with your opposite, because remember, on your angle here in the astrology, Virgo and Pisces are literally opposites. They're 180 degrees apart. So you've got 5 things now in Pisces, so you're really identifying with the other. And I think you could even become somewhat soppy or romantic or really focused on the kind of, sweeter stuff of life. So that's really positive. And if you're interested, if you're someone who is single or who is interested in altering their relationship status, you're really going to have a lot of support here via the astrology to do that this month. Also on the 19th, your Mercury ruler goes retrograde, and it stays in retrograde until the 8th of January. That is in your 5th house, next to that Pluto. So making changes now, in a practical sense, will be really, really different to the changes you've made before. Because when Mercury goes retrograde, you discover new routes. You discover alternatives. So yes, you can continue to make progress, but you'll be in uncharted territory, and that comes with a sense of uncertainty. So just keep doing what you're doing, have faith that things are working out and that you're discovering something new. So think of it as an adventure, which is what you're doing. On the 20th, Mars conjuncts Neptune in your 7th house. Now that heightens this drive for romantic connection even more, because Mars is drive, and despite the fact that it's in Pisces, it still wants to get somewhere. So sitting with Neptune, this outer planet of the dream and aspiration, it kind of soothes Mars so that it can, rather than flail in the water, it gives Mars a boat so that it can drive to where it wants to go. So this is a wonderful time for you, Virgo, to really achieve emotional goals and desires, and to do that in a way that's consistent and where you really see a positive outcome. That big stellium in astrology is when 3 or more kind of energies come together in one single house. And this really lasts for the rest of the month here, and it gets stronger in January, Virgo. So there's a lot of good stuff here happening for you, romantically. So this is the winter of love for you. On the 28th to 29th of December, depending on where you are in the world, Uranus, the planet of eccentricity and doing things uniquely and really asserting yourself, that comes out of retrograde and it goes direct. And it's been in retrograde, so you may have been in a period where you've let go of the chaos in your working life, especially if you're employed. And the problem for you is that you start to think things independently, or you start to think very much along independent lines. And if you're someone who's in a job where you have no say and you just have to do as you're told, that will start to grate a little bit, because you've got ideas now for yourself and you've got ideas that you may want to implement. If you have the opportunity to do things independently, and even if that's just on the side or even as a hobby, or you want to make a little bit of money, for instance, by having your own Etsy shop or something like that, giving yourself an outlet where you're the boss and where you have the say and where no one's looking over your shoulder, that will be very fulfilling, and you can start that going into 2017. That will feel very satisfying personally. Now on the 29th, we have the new moon happening in Capricorn in your 5th house. Again, there will be a separate video on the new moon going into a lot of depth, but as far as you're concerned, Virgo, that new moon happens in your romance sector, in your love and romance sector and family sector, in the sense of having fun with children. And there'll be a real focus on having fun and working to make those things better, and really just spending time with other people in a practical, physical sense and getting the most out of that. So it's a happy month for you, full of relationships and full of good things. If you would like a private reading with me about your circumstances based on your date of birth, place of birth and time of birth, then please get in touch with me via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading, and we can look at what your soul purpose is, what's coming up in your finance, what progress you're making in your romantic life, all of those things that you may have questions about. Please support me by subscribing to the channel, and I'll speak to you next month.